What I've got here is a guitar with a crack along its headstock. You can kind of see it as I shine the light on it. It's not going through the headstock or through the neck, but going along its neck. I fear if I try to open it up more, it'll just crack further along the neck, so I can't really inject glue in there. And of course, if the camera will clear up there, the crack does the same thing along this side too. So I'll set up a jig and we'll cut through it and create some grooves for the splines to go into. I've got my jig positioned here. I haven't fully attached it, but what we've got here is a part that holds the plexiglass to the headstock. I will actually, because this bolt is so far this way, I will actually put a clamp here. On this side we will put a clamp to attach it here. There is some cork on the other side, and what will happen is the Bosch router will cut along where I'll position this bolt here. Will cut along this groove, and it will completely miss where the truss rod cavity is, and then we'll insert our spline right into this zone here. And then we'll do the opposite side later, where I will place this line along there and then move this one to the far end that way, and it should be kind of a equal symmetrical spacing from the splines. And I've got a piece that'll go inside here too. This is 1/4 of an inch, so we'll start with the 1/4 of an inch up, and then instead of readjusting the Bosch Colt router, it'll just go a 1/4 inch down for the pass number 2. So that's how we'll start. I got an idea for my depth of cut from measuring the underside of the plexiglass and where the slot will be, to figure out how deep the router bit should be and to not exceed, the measurements of going through the guitar neck. So the plexiglass is 1/4 of an inch. Certainly don't want to go through the guitar neck, so my measurements here, 7/8 or so, plus the 1/4 of an inch could be the full depth of the, and certainly no more, full depth of the router bit. So measuring here is how I figure out how deep to put the router bit. So I'm measuring my depth of cut here, and I'll start off with my first cut and that piece of 1/4 inch plexiglass. Pass number 1 with the plexiglass in there. I'll have to probably take this out to remove that. I've got a little slot in the front to help remove it. And that pass seems good so far. I'll try pass number 2. There we have it. Now I'm routing the bass side in the same way. First pass with the 1/4 inch plexi. Looking good. Second pass, 1/4 of an inch deeper.
And there we have our 2 grooves for the splines.
So the grooves have worked out well. A little bit of chip out here where the crack had on both ends there where the crack had started, I guess. And this is a low tack tape that we had used. But otherwise, you can see here the initial crack. So we'll try to inject some glue in there, and certainly from the sides, all the crack that goes down will be attached to the spline, which is then glued in there. So the fix appears quite good. Let me just put some added light on there. But these 2 spline slots should do the job of strengthening this neck. And once I get glue in that spot there, and then we'll spray it, and that'll be the fix for this neck. I'm going to attempt some glue on the neck. I've got some Type Bond that I heated up in warm water. I want to push on the neck a little bit, see if I can get some of this yellow glue in there. It's a laminated neck, so it broke along its laminations. I'm going to use a feeler gauge to see if I can push it along a little bit. That one will get some glue there. And once those splines are in, they'll hold those laminations quite well. So it was definitely the right thing to do. I'm going to take some air and blow in a bit of air into the glue with this little suction cup. Yeah, I see some squeezing out there, so that's going well. Again, the splines will do a great job at holding it all together, but if I can also get this same glue in the crack, which it appears like I'm getting, then that'll be good. And I've made these cauls. One has a bit of foam there, so it'll push certainly into that. The other part will certainly push along the crack. And this has a cork as well. Glue up seems to be as decent as it could be. You still feel it, but that's about as much clamping as I could do. And you can see in there along the laminations, you could see where the new glue was. And I've of course got these pieces that'll fit right in there. They're a little bit snug, but not too tight. So I think that'll be a perfect fit. They're made out of maple. You can see the grain runs upward, quarters on that way, I guess. And they're sanded with 120 grit paper. These will really reinforce the neck. There, let's put this one in. And now I'll do some wipe up.
they must be flushed down at the end.
Those glued in well. I'm going to take a chisel and just start removing some of the maple from the shim. One could use a knife here too. Just a matter of being careful. But I'm certainly going to start with this chiseling. I'll keep going with that. I was able to take practically all of that away with just this one chisel. And there's a few rough spots there that I might take a scraper. I'll certainly take sandpaper to it, but we're generally fairly flush without going too far with just a nice sharp chisel. So that's what I've been doing with that, and we'll continue on with this side. Looking at the clock, it took me no more than 35 minutes to get both of these chiseled. You see I got some shavings on the ground there, but now I'll likely just wait till tomorrow to pass some maybe a scraper at first and certainly some sandpaper on there. But the splines went in very well. I'm getting the guitar ready to buff now. It's been sanded. Now we'll take it to the buffing station. So I got it shaded a little darker to hide the splines. Here we have the buffed finish. You can see it's going from cherry to like a darker cherry. Seems to have covered those splines fairly well.